I'm Adam Hill, editor of ITS International. Ghost plates or stealth plates in the US are a major criminal problem and have a significant effect on road safety. I'm here at the House of Commons in London, UK, to talk to two ghost plate hunters, Sarah Coombes MP and Chris Shepherd of MAV Systems. Let's hear what they've got to say.
My name is Sarah Coombes and I'm the Labour MP for West Bromwich, and this time last year I had never even heard of ghost plates. But in my constituency I have a huge car racing problem, and in particular a couple of long straight roads that come off the motorway which are absolutely perfect racetracks, but there's blocks of flats that are on there. And we have this problem Friday, Saturday nights. You might get 30, 40 cars. They come race up and down, 1 a.m, 2 a.m. It's horrendously loud. It's really dangerous. I've had people die in my area because of it. And so I was standing on this stretch of road with police and local residents saying, we need a speed camera on this stretch of road to stop this racing. And one of the officers just said to me, Sarah, all of these races have got ghost plates. A camera's not going to do anything. And that was the first time I had ever heard of a ghost number plate. And after that conversation, I went back and I looked online and I was absolutely gobsmacked by the amount of videos on social media explaining exactly what a ghost plate did, which makes you invisible to ANPR, how easy they are to buy, £30, £40, websites openly saying this will mean that you will not get a single speeding ticket, that you can get away without being seen by any cameras in the country. And it was really shocking, to be honest. And I realised not only is this a huge road safety problem, it's clearly a criminal problem as well, because if people are using this to defy speeding tickets, then they're obviously going to be using it to escape police as well. And I know how important ANPR is to police detection in this country. So because I've got this huge community problem with the racing, it really matters to people. I thought I've got to do something about this, which is why I started campaigning to crack down on ghost plates. So the shocking thing right now is that if you get caught with a ghost plate, and the honest truth is, historically, it's been quite unlikely you're going to get caught, because to the human eye, they look completely normal. It's only if you put infrared goggles on that you can see that it is in fact a ghost plate. If you do get caught with one, the fine is only £100. No points on your licence. So actually, it's better to get caught with a ghost plate than get one speeding fine, because you get points on your licence. So right now, it makes financial sense for people who are dodgy drivers who want to race around to get one of these plates. That is totally ridiculous. We need a much higher fine. We need people to have points on your licence, and we need for repeat offenders for things like their car being seized potentially, because you've got to hit people where it hurts. So that's the kind of change you need for the people who are buying them. But it's also ridiculous how easy it is to become a number plate seller in this country. And given that it's essentially a passport for your car, in some other countries, only 1 or 2 companies are licensed to sell number plates. In this country, all you have to do to sell a number plate in Britain is sign up to the DVLA website, pay £40, no background checks whatsoever, which has meant there are 35,000 companies registered in Britain to sell number plates. And unfortunately, many, many of them are selling ghost plates, stealth plates, and cloned number plates, which are causing havoc and causing danger on our roads. And that system is broken, and we need to change it. And the government urgently needs to change the way that number plates are sold in Britain. So luckily, the new government is very focused on road safety, and we've got the first road safety strategy for 10 years, hopefully about to come out. And I'm pretty confident that the government is going to take action about ghost number plates, clone number plates, and the number plate failures in that road safety strategy. And it will require changes to the law, because absurdly, to raise the fines and to add points to things, you've got to have actual legislation. I'm very hopeful that that is going to happen. And I'm also hopeful that from all the work that I've been doing with other campaigners, MAV Systems and others, that police forces up and down the country and local authorities and the other partners in road safety are really waking up to the danger of these ANPR defying plates and really starting to crack down on them in all the different ways that we have available to us to do that.
So I think the way to look at it is that the number plate is the fundamental integrity part of the entire DVLA system. The public should be able to identify vehicles at the roadside, and it helps prevent crime, it helps deter bad driving, and it helps to basically create a safer society and deny criminals the use of the road. What's happened is traditional ANPR cameras have read number plates using the reflective nature of the number plate and infrared to bring those plates out. Now, over time, what has happened is some people in the ANPR market have stagnated and we've not progressed. And we've used traditional technologies that were created in the early 90s when it was part of, in the 80s to combat IRA-based terrorism and the Ring of Steel around the City of London, and we've not developed that. Now, what's happened is that people have obviously understood that ANPR has now become an operational policing tool, and it's a live operational policing tool. It's actually used in about 75% of police investigations, and many different, we don't realise how many sort of legs it's grown into many different sectors. Now, the thing to look at is that what's happened is there's been a driver for cost, and there's been a driver to basically bring down the price in a significant way, and that has resulted in people going to single optics-based cameras, which can't identify ghost plates and can't read them, particularly at night and in the dark. Now, what you have to understand is that as we are at the moment in the winter hours, the hours of darkness are actually from about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock onwards. So it's not traditional nighttime, but a lot of serious criminality also happens at night. So what we have to do is we have to kind of look at that, and what we've done is develop new infrared frequencies, develop new AI-based technologies to develop that. But it's also understanding that ghost plates aren't necessarily just a single problem. It's also, you're looking at foreign vehicles, they don't necessarily comply to our standards, but actually are they even registered in the UK? And it's very interesting when you look at it, when you look at speed enforcement from automatic-based devices, most foreign vehicles are not pursued. And actually the technology is there now that we could identify those vehicles very quickly. And as they go to leave the country, we could use the roadside deposit scheme to take the fiscal penalty from those individuals. So not only are we gaining revenue, but we're making sure people understand they are accountable. And at the same time, clone plates, the technology is there now to identify make, model, colour of vehicles, so we can see if the right plates are on the right vehicles. But also we can do impossible journey scenarios, so we can say vehicles aren't in the, they can't be in the two places at once as they're travelling at subsonic speeds. So it's looking at those various things and blending those technologies. But what you have to understand is with ghost plates and clone plates and foreign vehicles, the minute you undermine the integrity of the number plate system, the whole thing crumbles. And what we need to do is actually target that. But our police forces are very stretched at the moment. And because this ghost plate problem hasn't been addressed by previous governments and it's massively increased, we've now got to try and identify those plates en masse. We've got a large number of them already on the road. It's not like we're dealing with a emerging problem. We're dealing with a problem that's already epidemic. So by dealing with that now, we need to have the technology base to en masse identify these individuals, enable us to deal with 75 to 80% of them that will be your low-level based offenders that we can just kind of remove the wheat from the chaff and issue them all warning letters and move them into compliance, which 80% generally will do. And then the core 20% we can then go after with the correct penalties. We can punish them. If you look at speeding, if you get a notice of intended prosecution from a police force for a speeding offence and you are dealt with normally, you'll get 3 points and a sort of £150 fine. Now, if you try and evade that notice of intended prosecution, there's actually a specified offence, section 172 of the Road Traffic Act, that has a higher penalty, and it's £300 and 6 points. And that's designed to say, if you comply with the process, you will get a reasonable punishment. If you actually try and make something that's relatively minor more serious, we will deal with you more seriously. And that's what we need to do with ghost plates. We need to say to people, actually, what we're going to do is take a holistic approach with the technology. If you have a ghost plate and you go through a speed camera and we identify you, not only will you be dealt with for the speeding offence, but you will also be dealt with for trying to evade that speeding offence with your ghost plate. So you will get further points of penalties. And that is what we're looking to do. I mean, it's a complete contradiction in terms, like you say, that people can have, sole traders can apply to produce number plates. And then even if they do get caught and enforced against, they can shut down and pop up under a different name and reapply with no proper checks and
3 doors down.
And it just becomes idiotic that someone can go onto Instagram or onto TikTok or Facebook and they can buy a set of ghost plates. There's no proper sanity checks on whether that vehicle, they could be applying for a number plate for their vehicle that's actually for a different vehicle and no one is checking any of this. Whereas actually, if you go into, say, Halfords or a high street retailer and do it, they properly check your V5s, to make sure it's the right vehicle. And we seem to have opened up this hole. And I think the other thing we've discussed before, and I think it's really important to understand, is that we need to make sure the checks and balances are in place moving forwards, that no one is allowed to make these changes to the number plate standards again without there being some proper sanity checks.
The end game is to massively crack down on people using ghost plates, higher fines, points on your license, stopping people thinking they can do ghost plates and get away with it. And secondly, to fix this broken number plate system in Britain. Number plates are far too important to road safety, to catching criminals, to enforcing the laws of our roads overall, to be treated in the way they are, which is a cheap piece of plastic that you can buy from anyone, even with a criminal record, and there's no problem at all.